Focus. Shri Harim Paramanandam,
Shri Harim Paramanandam,
Upadishtaram Ishwaram,
Upadishtaram Ishwaram,
Vyapakam Sarvalokanam,
Vyapakam Sarvalokanam,
Karanam Tam Namamyaham,
Karanam Tam Namamyaham.
We have done the next one also. You can repeat that. Aparokshanubhuti vai,
Aparokshanubhuti vai,
Prochyate moksha siddhaye,
Prochyate moksha siddhaye,
Sadbhireva prayatnena,
Sadbhireva prayatnena,
Vikshaniya muhurmuhu,
Vikshaniya muhurmuhu.
So, by the qualified seekers, this book should be Vikshaniya, should be read, examined, studied again and again. You have to make an effort. So, who are these qualified seekers? We know at the beginning of the study of Vedanta, we are told about the fourfold qualifications. Sadhan Chatushtay, fourfold qualifications. Every study of Vedanta should begin with these fourfold qualifications. And we are eager to get on to the good stuff. You want to know how I am Atman. Tell me how I am Atman first. This Vivek, Vairagya is boring. Be a good boy, be a good girl, this is boring. I know all these things. First tell me how to get samadhi and all that. But without this, nothing is possible. I am reminded of this funny story of a yoga teacher. So a student goes to him to learn yoga and says, Mahatma ji, yoga sikhaye. Oh Swami, teach me yoga. And the teacher says that pehle to hai yam niyam, you have to tell the truth, you have to be self-controlled, you should not steal. Then this gentleman got annoyed. He said, wo sab hum jante, I know all that. I have to be a good person, I know all that. Aap humko asan sikhaiye, pranayam sikhaiye, dhyan sikhaiye. So in Ashtanga yoga, there are these 8 limbs. So first of all, yama and niyama. First the moral disciplines. Teach me asana, I want those things I know. From childhood I have been told, tell the truth, be a good boy. But now I want to learn how to sit, how to breathe, how to meditate. Then that yogi said to him, Aap Ashtanga yoga sikhenge ya Vikalang yoga sikhenge? Are you going to learn 8-limbed yoga? Or a handicapped yoga? 2 limbs are missing from the beginning. Yama niyama you are going to remove. So these disciplines are absolutely necessary. One teacher of Vedanta said that if you cultivate these, the fourfold qualifications, if you cultivate these, then what you learn later on in Vedanta, you will realize, you will become a Jivan Mukta, you will become a Brahmagyani, you will become enlightened. But if we do not cultivate these, then what will happen is, as we go into it, you will end up feeling, I learned a very nice philosophy, but my life is still the same. That if Sadhan Chatushtaya is not there, is not sufficient, either one will be either not at all interested in this. I don't understand. Now once I told this Vedanta to a visitor, and this person, after listening to the idea that you are not the body, not the mind, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, listened carefully and then said, so what? It does not even strike, does not even go in what is being suggested, such a revolutionary change in our idea of oneself. It's not even, doesn't even enter. So that's one reaction. Another reaction will be, yes, I understand. But it's very theoretical, it's very distant. Or somebody will say, I understand what is being said, but it's not practical. I see sometimes, I talk about Vedanta, and sometimes the question is, yes Swami, that's great, but coming to some practical points, that means Vedanta is not practical. Vedanta is impractical. Swami Vivekananda, 4 lectures on practical Vedanta, all gone. After saying all that, if somebody says, yes, Swamiji, Vedanta is good, but come to something practical. The more you appreciate Vedanta, more you will see this is most practical. The first is this one. What is the closest thing to you? You, yourself. Most practical, all the time available, what you are all the time. You're talking about that only. Or somebody will say that I get it intellectually, but really it is not so. Or I get it in class, but after class it goes away. Or I get it in deep meditation, it seems to be like that, but when I open my eyes and get engaged in the world outside, it's gone. These are all due to lack of sadhana chatushtaya. Swami Vivekananda said, I know where the shoe pinches. Where the problem really lies. It does not lie with jnana, bhakti, dhyana. Those things are not so difficult. The real difficult, hard work, unglamorous work of spirituality is here, in the sadhana chatushtaya. But very powerful, very important. By themselves also, the sadhana chatushtaya by themselves will solve 80% of our problems. We'll see. So let us pay attention here. As we proceed in our life, in the journey in Vedanta, again and again we will have the occasion of coming back and looking back at these sadhana chatushtaya, these fourfold qualifications. It's like you're driving a vehicle and your eyes are on the dashboard. Sometimes you check your fuel, your speed, your engine temperature. These things are the essentials for your spiritual journey. Like that, sadhana chatushtaya essential for our Vedantic journey. So let's go into the sadhana chatushtaya. I'm skipping verse number 3, from verse number 4 onwards. Verse number 4 to 10. Sadhana chatushtaya, fourfold qualifications in Vedantic life, in your journey towards self-knowledge. Brahmadi sthavaranteshu Vairagyam vishayeshvano Yataiva kakavishthayam Vairagyam tadhi nirmalam. The indifference with which one treats the excreta of a crow, such an indifference to all the objects of enjoyment from the realm of Brahma to this world, in the view of their perishable nature, is verily called pure Vairagya. Vairagya, dispassion, renunciation. This is absolutely central in spiritual life. Swami Vivekananda says the turning point in spiritual life is this Vairagya. The turning point in all the yogas, the point at which all these efforts become spiritual is Vairagya. Otherwise they are all worldly. What do I mean by that? Religion is of two kinds. The same religion, there are two aspects to it. One you might call the lower religion, one the higher religion. One you might call mass religion, one you might call spirituality. This distinction has to be clear in our minds from the beginning. What is mass religion? What is general religion, lower religion? Is when I go to a temple, mosque, church, and I ask for blessings for my life. I want a job, or I want a disease to be cured, somebody. These are prayers of humanity. Because you are struggling with life. There are many issues in life, many problems in life. And there is no harm in seeking divine help. It's very natural to humanity. From the most ancient times, all the primitive religions, from the most ancient beginnings of Vedic religion, Karma Kanda, the Yajnas, what was the purpose there? The purpose was very worldly. Kings would perform a sacrifice, may I win this battle. Farmers would perform the sacrifice so that the rains will come on time. Will Durant, the historian, he starts his description, I think about philosophy, in the history of India, his long multi-volume series on the history of the world. So he says, when the monsoons fail, India starves and dreams of nirvana. So, when go hungry, no food, then Aparokshanubhuti, Brahma Jnana, I'm not the body, this is very bad. The word renunciation. So we pray, let there be food, let there be prosperity, let there be security, let me be rich, let me have many Facebook friends. So all of this we pray. And this is mass religion. In all the temples you will go, in all the religious places, thousands, hundreds of thousands of visitors. How many are praying for Aparokshanubhuti? Nobody, almost nobody. Hardly anybody. And that is this prayer to the Lord to make our lives better. Our lives are like this, make it better. Let my life be more pleasant. There's a word in Bengali, Hindi, all Indian languages, suvidha. I want some magical help. I'll deal with my life, but I want some help. You also help me. And there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, without this, religion would not exist. It is a mass religion, this is the foundation. How many are interested in moksha, nirvana? So, in contrast to this is the higher religion, what we call spirituality. What this place is about. What this Ramakrishna Kutir is about, what Vedanta is about. That not for any problem, I'm not going to the Lord for any problem, not because I want something, but because I am an inquirer, a seeker of truth. Is there any problem? If you say problem, you might also say, yes, I want something, I want a solution to all my problems. All my problems should be solved. Not piece by piece. So if that is possible, this is the higher religion. Transcendence of all worldly demands and the goal of God realization, enlightenment, Brahma Jnana. You see, deep inside it's not very different. The enlightened, you are seeking the same happiness. It's the person who's going to the temple and offering a puja. Both of us, we are all seeking the same happiness. However, the difference is you are seeking it wisely. That person is seeking it otherwisely. Why are you seeking otherwisely? That's an unkind thing to say. Because even if that person's prayers are granted, there will be some other problem. Something will go on. Life will go on. This is life. Whereas we are trying to find a deep solution to it. So this is the higher religion, the spirituality. I put it this way. If we use God for our lives, then that is lower religion. But if our lives are for God, then that is the higher religion. Am I using God as a convenience? Washing machine makes my life easier. The dishwasher makes my life easier. Wi-Fi makes my life easier. So, Wi-Fi is a primary requirement of human life these days. In USA, I saw in one place, homeless person, does not have a home, sitting outside a big convenience store, sitting there with a phone. So I asked, why are you always sitting here? So because that shop has a big Wi-Fi. He's catching the Wi-Fi there. Next. Does not have a home. Is begging for his food. But so all these things are conveniences. Makes our life nice. So can we make God into one more convenience? Add God to your life so God life becomes a little better. That is God for our life. But our life for God. I want to realize God. I want to find God. When Narendranath Datta goes to Sri Ramakrishna, what does he ask? He had problems in life. But what does he ask? Can I see God? Have you seen God? Jigyasu. One wants enlightenment, God realization. So this is, how does this happen? This happens due to Vairagya. To Vairagya. My immediate concerns, they will be there. Today it's one set of problems, tomorrow another set of problems. But overall, my life is for a higher purpose. My goal is higher, not to solve this problem today. So this higher spirituality, it starts with Vairagya. Swami Vivekananda has said that the turning point in the yogas come with Vairagya. Spirituality starts with Vairagya. And he talks about Vairagya in Karma Yoga, Vairagya in Bhakti Yoga, Vairagya in Raja Yoga, Vairagya in Jnana Yoga. Vairagya in Karma Yoga. To let go of our selfish pursuits and work as service, seva. Our pursuits, what we do in life, They are for I, me, mine. I, me, mine. Let go of that. Why? Not that you will give up your job or your house or your family. Those will continue. But a greater purpose is there. Why will you not pursue this I, me, mine? Because it has not worked till now. Till now, 25 years old, 50 years old, 75 years old, pursuing just my whole project is to make this one happy. In some worldly way or the other. Those things have not worked. It is possible to make this one happy, but in the reverse way. Not by selfishness, but by selflessness. So that is the vairagya of the karma yogi. Nothing, I don't want anything for myself. I will be engaged. I will work. I will be contributing to community, to society. I will be doing my job. But inside, this is called alam pratyaya. Enough. I am fine. I don't want anything from this world. The karma yogi. Then activity becomes karma yoga. Whatever you do, in the home, in the ashram, in the office. See, one might think when you say this that it is not possible to carry on life if you feel like that. No. Krishna taught this. Sri Krishna taught this to Arjuna in the most worldly place. What is the most worldly place? Battlefield. Most horrible place in this world. Many people approach us saying, you are monks, it's alright, but we are grihasthas, we are in the world, so many problems. Yes, it is true. But the most problematic place in the whole world is the battlefield. There Vedanta was taught. If Arjuna can practice Vedanta or is expected to practice Vedanta in the battlefield, for us it's much easier, wherever we are. It's not so difficult. Then the second is Vairagya of the Karma Yogi. Second, Vairagya of the Bhakti Yogi. Bhakti Yogi, the yoga of love of God. To give up these 100, 1,000 selfish desires which are flowing out to the world. I want. To turn them all into Vivekananda's words. One great almighty love for God. One love. Not 100 desires. Amazon shopping list. Not that it's in India, it's more. Anything you can get delivered to your house. You don't even have to go and purchase. Just order on your phone. The description of Swarga, heaven. In heaven, whatever you desire is immediately fulfilled. It's like this, Only leave little money, it will be fulfilled. So, the 100 desires, 1,000 desires, Amazon shopping cart, that does not even have to be a real shopping cart, it's all virtual. All your things are there, you choose and you purchase. No. Instead of 100 desires flowing into the world, you collect all of them and replace it with God. The same I want. The heart wants something. And the object of wanting are the 100 things, 1,000 things in the world. You remove them, only one thing I want, which is God. Then it becomes bhakti. Almighty, one almighty love of God. That's renunciation. In Bhakti Yoga, renunciation. Remember, you don't renounce the desire itself. The object of desire is renounced. The love, the desire, the wanting, that wanting is now channelized towards God. That force is necessary, that I want, very much so. Then third, the Vairagya of the Raja Yogi, the Dhyani. The Dhyani must, the Yogi must deny all experience. Experience, Anubhuti. The eyes want to see, no. Ears want to hear, no. Tongue wants to taste, no. To smell, no. To touch, no. Mind wants to think, no. Then you yogas chitta vritti nirodha. You sit still, turn your attention inwards, away from the world, away from phone also. Other people will think how much is doing meditation. Not meditation, phone is here actually. No, turn your attention inwards, denying all sensory experiences, denying all the vrittis of the mind which are dwelling on the world. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. That is the Vairagya of the yogi, Raja Yogi. Then the Vairagya which he is talking about, Jnana Yogi. Everything, the whole universe is denied, Jagat Mithya, from the beginning itself. Vivekananda says this is the most difficult of all. That's why this is the most direct path, because it will take you directly to the heart of reality, here and now. So what is this Vairagya of the Jnani? Brahmadi sthavaranteshu Vairagyam Vishayeshwanu. In all objects. What's an object? Whatever you experience is an object. The food which you eat is an object. The body is an object. A thought is an object. Anything you experience, a feeling is an object. Whatever we experience is an object. This world is an object. And heaven also, Swarga and all, they are all objects. And this dispassion for everything, of all objects, I do not want. I am not interested. And not only not interested, he adds an element of disgust. See, one way is to use our psychology. There are certain things which we not only see we are not interested, we don't like it at all. It repulses us. He says, Kakavisthaya, the excreta of a crow, droppings of a crow. Like that, the most pleasurable things, the most wealth, the most name and fame, the most going to the highest heaven after death, Kakavisthaya, Vishayeshu Anu, for all Vishayas, immediately say, I don't want. Because what I am after, this one is wise, what I am after is the infinite. Worldly pleasures and otherworldly pleasures, samsara and swarga, they are nothing compared to Brahman. So, Vairagyam, and see the play of words. Kakavishta arouses a sense of repugnance, of disgust, and immediately follows it with the word nirmalam, pure. So you contrast it. Vairagya is pure, it immediately purifies us. Immediately purifies us. And any kind of desire soils our mind. So this Vairagya, this is the beginning of spirituality. Beginning of spirituality. In every path. In bhakti also. In dhyana definitely. If there's some little desire for name and fame, the greatest karma yogi, the path of karma yoga seva will be spoiled if I'm doing it for myself. For the claps. If any kind of enjoyment, personal enjoyment I want to get out of this world, then bhakti will be that much weaker. If any kind of external thing pulls me, then our dhyana, our meditation will be that much weaker. Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda ji was reading, was asked, why do other thoughts enter when I am meditating? Everybody asks, in meditation that's the biggest problem. Our mind does not stay on the point we want it to stay. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. How much time more I have to do? Let me see. Then Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So, you see, the mind wants to end it and go outwards. So somebody asks Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda ji, why does this happen? You know, he says, in Bengali the question was, Onno chinta mone dhoke keno? And Hari Maharaj's reply was, Tumi dhukte dao tai? Because you let them enter, that's why. His implication is, you want it. You want it. If you firmly did not want it, no, I can't control it. No, I firmly did not want it. Internally strong vairagya is there. And then you sit quietly, mind will quickly become calm. So, because our situation is, I really don't want the things of the world. I want God realization, but also I want the things of the world. You get pulled in this way. Alright. He says the full answer which Swami Turiyananda gave was, firmly put no admittance on your mind and sit in meditation. Don't let anything else enter. After a while, it's very interesting, he says, after a while, you'll be fine with eyes closed or with eyes open also. Other thoughts will not come into your mind. But initially, stay with the mantra, stay with your Ishtadeva. So, Vairagya. Usually, the sadhana chatushtaya begins with a discussion of Viveka, then Vairagya. But here you see, Shankaracharya has started with Vairagya first. Vairagya is central to spiritual life. To make it clear, it should be clear, but people have doubts. So Vairagya means you have to become a monk. Not necessarily. Nowhere does he say you have to become a monk. But what it means internally in the mind, monk-like. I've told the story other place, monkey mind and monk mind. So there was a monkey who used to come and steal the produce from the field of a farmer. The farmer thought how to chase this monkey or trap this monkey. He couldn't catch the monkey, was too fast, he would snatch things and go away. So what the farmer did was he took a banana and he put it in a narrow-necked jar. He put it inside. And so the monkey noticed. When the farmer went away, the monkey crept down from the tree and put his hand inside the narrow neck jar, inside it, and caught hold of the banana. But now he can't drag it out. Now the farmer came running with a stick to beat the poor monkey. The monkey did not let go. It's so greedy, it will not let go. It's holding on that one. So it's trapped. And the farmer came and gave a good thrashing to that monkey. Finally the monkey lets go of the banana and then runs away and climbs the tree. So only when the monkey mind becomes monk mind, then you must step away. This stepping away is internal stepping away. Externally, in Hindi, in many Indian languages, there is a saying about monks that English translation will be, you have colored the cloth without coloring your mind. Alas, O monk, what have you done? You have made your cloth Gerua. Your mind also has to become Gerua. Otherwise, there is no point. This making the mind Gerua inside, this is renunciation, Vairagya. And remember, you are not giving up a lot to catch hold of something vague. No, you are catching hold of something true. You are catching hold of the reality. For the first time, you are waking up from sleepwalking into real life. So Vairagya is the turning point in spiritual life. But how will we get Vairagya? How will we get Vairagya? Number 5. Viveka. Nityam Atma Swarupam Hi.
Nityam Atma Swarupam Hi.
Drishyam Tad Viparitagam.
Drishyam Tad Viparitagam.
Evam Yo Nishchaya Samyak.
Evam Yo Nishchaya Samyak.
Viveko Vastu Nasavai.
Viveko Vastu Nasavai.
Atman, the seer in itself is alone permanent, the seen is opposed to it, is transient. Such a settled conviction is truly known as discrimination. Okay. Discrimination, in English it has always been translated as discrimination, but our Swamis who translated it, they translated 50, 60, 100 years ago. Now the word discrimination has a bad meaning. You're discriminating. You have to, what do you have to do in Vedanta? First of all, you have to discriminate. Discriminate. That doesn't sound good. What is meant here, I prefer another word. Discernment. Discernment. Two things are mixed up. And you want to separate them. How? In your understanding. Sri Ramakrishna gives nice examples. Bengali said, Chinite balite mishe ache, pipde alada korte pare. Sand and sugar are mixed up. The ant can separate them. Milk and water are mixed up. The swan, hash, radhash, jalti phele dubti loy. The swan is supposed to be able to separate the water from the milk and drink only the milk and let go of the water. The last part is untranslatable. I have to tell you in Bengali. In Hindi also it makes sense, but in English very difficult. Sri Ramakrishna says, Golmale mal ache, golti baat diye malti lo. Golmal mein mal hai, gol chhod ke mal le lo. Isko Hindi, ऐसे English कैसे करोगे आप? I have no idea, really. This is untranslatable. It basically means in this whole mess of samsara, right here the reality is that spiritual reality is here. Let go of the mess of samsara and catch hold of that spiritual reality. Which everybody else who understands, those who understand Hindi or Bengali, they will know it's a very poor translation. The punch is, Gol ti baat di mal ki lo, gol chhod do, mal le lo. How do you do this? This is called Viveka. The skill is Viveka. Viveka means being able to separate two things which are appearing together. The Upanishads say, Shreya and Preya, that which is good and that which is pleasant, they come together. Every moment of our life, we have the power to decide which one, what will I do next moment? What will I say the next moment? And most important, what will I think the next moment? We are told, for example, we are told you have to think about God all day long. And we immediately say, I can't do that. It's too much. It is truly too much. But suppose I say, next moment, just think of Shiva. Just one moment. Can you do that? Everybody will say yes. One moment we can control our mind. One moment. Then, but the next moment you have again the power of decision. Next moment what will I think? Again decide. I will think of Shiva. I will think of my Ishtadeva. I will do Atma Vichara. Or I will meditate and repeat the mantra. Every moment, remember this, every moment we have a superpower. Every moment, each one of us till death, till we fall asleep, till we die. We have a superpower. We have the power to decide next moment what I will think, what I will say, and what I will do. Kaya mana vakya. How I will use my mind, how I will use my tongue, and how I will use my body. In action, in speech, and in thought. Especially in thought. What will I think one moment from now? I have the power to choose. Normally we don't know. We don't even know that we have this power. If this power is brought to your notice, you will say, yeah, that's right, I have the power. But if it's not brought to our notice, we don't know about it. And so what happens? Usually for most of us, it goes on by default. In old computers, they used to have default settings. I don't know if those have seen. Nowadays it makes no sense, but the computers used to boot. And there was some kind of setting which the computers will go on to unless you interrupt it. I remember we were taught, what is it? Control, Alt, Delete together. You have to stop the booting sequence and then enter into it.
Task manager.
Task manager.
Task manager.
Task manager.
So DOS system, old DOS systems. You will be able to do that. Nowadays, latest machines you can't do it. They're too fast and already preset. It's like a black box. You can't break into it like that. But you could. Otherwise, it will go on the way it has been set. Similarly, our thoughts, our speech, our words go on the way they have been set by past habit. The past habit. What the choice of the power of choice gives us is this breaking into this default setting. At every moment, I can break into this setting and decide, no, this I will not think this, I will think this. No, I will not say this, I will say this. Next moment, one moment. No, I will not do this, I will do this. You see what an enormous difference it will make to our life if we consistently do this even for a short part of the day. And it's hard work, but as we do it, breaking through our default conditioning, as we do it, we apply Viveka, keep on selecting the good, rejecting the pleasant option, the default option. Select the good. Slowly the default setting also will change. It will become automatic. Swami Turiyananda ji would say, Age to kheteni tehar, tarpor emni. In the beginning, you have to work a little for them, of course, few years, 10 years, 20 years. But afterwards, it becomes easier, it becomes natural. So, break into the default setting by Viveka. Shreya Preya, what is good and what is pleasant. These two come together. You select the good. How did his name become Vivekananda? Viveka, that word. His brother disciple, Swami Ramakrishna Kutir, wrote a Sanskrit hymn to Swami Vivekananda. Anitya Drishyeshu Vivichya Nityam Yoso Vivek Anitya Drishyeshu Vivichya Nityam Tasmin Samaritta Yasma Leelaya Yoso Viveki Tamaham Namami. So, in the ever-changing world, Anitya Drishyeshu, in this ever-changing world, here in this world, Alaksani, in this experience of the world, Anubhuti, he discerned, Viveka, the Nityam, the eternal in the changing, the subject in the midst of all the objects, the conscience, the conscious, the Chaitanya in the midst of all the jara. He discerned, not only discerned, this discernment will be taught to us. Then, Tasmin Samadatta, became entirely steady on that, on the Atman, on God, on the spiritual self, on reality. Separating it like sand and sugar, letting the sand of the world, the dross of the world go, and settling down on God, on the Atman, on consciousness, on Sat. And he did this just like that. Leela, as if in play. For us it's very difficult. Why is it difficult? Vairagya. So, that Viveki, he calls Swami Vivekananda that Viveki, the one who employs, who deploys Viveka, the ability to discern between the real and the unreal, eternal and non-eternal, God and the world, self and not self, consciousness and object. Look at the verse here. Nityam Atma Swarupam hi Drishyam Tad Viparitagam. Whatever we experience is called Drishya. Whatever you see is Drishya. You are the Drashta. Drashta means seer. जो देखते हैं वो दृश्य है. But not just देखते हैं, not just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. All the objects of the senses are drishya, object. You, on the other hand, are their witness, are their experiencer. You are the subject. Those objects are many. Just see how many things you can see here. How many colors, how many shapes, how many people, what are the variety of things, near and far. All of these are saying with the same eyes. Drashta is one. Drishya are many. And all of these are continuously changing. From morning till now, how many things you have seen? They are all changing. But the same eyes. Drishya is changing, Drashta is unchanging. And this Drishya and Drashta are two separate things. You separate. Why separate? Because in day-to-day life we don't think like that. We are very immersed in the Drishya. We completely forget the Drashta. We are very immersed in the activities and the objects of life. We forget the subject. Vedanta is turning our attention back. It's turning your attention back to yourself. Not to objects. Not even to body. Not even to thoughts. Thoughts, feelings, body, objects separate. I am the witness. This ability to continuously separate, he says, in your understanding. Nityam Atma Swarupam Drishya Tad Viparitagam. The Drishya is separate and contrasting with it. Evam Yo Nishchaya. Slowly a clarity will come about this. This is Viveka. Samyak Viveka Vastuna Hisa. In all experiences, this is called Viveka. This we can practice all the time. Now, one secret about this sadhana chatushtaya. The sadhana chatushtaya are Vivek, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam cha. Four practices. Sadhan means practice, by the way. Many people think, oh, these are qualifications. I don't have the qualifications. They are not qualifications. The word sadhan means these are practices. So these are practices. These are things to be done, practiced. It's no use saying, I don't have it. Do you want to have it? Yes. Then you practice this. Start walking. Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutanandaji. So somebody, he was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Brahmagyani, quite unlettered and very direct. Maybe because he was unlettered, he was very direct. So some devotees went and said, Maharaj, kuch updesh kijiye. And Latu Maharaj said, Khali upadesh. Kichu korbe na shala, khali upadesh kuriye badaye. He says, कुछ नहीं करने वाले हैं, सिर्फ उपदेश लेके ढूंढते रहते हैं. So here, this continuous practice of this understanding of the drashta and drishya. Now, the fourfold qualifications: vivek, vairagya, sixfold disciplines, and mumukshutvam. Now, the secret is this: wherever we feel a lack, the practice is not to practice that thing, but to practice the one before it. So there is a reason why the usual sequence is Viveka, Vairagya, then the six treasures, Shamadamadi, Shat Sampatti, then finally Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam, we will see all that, the intense desire for freedom. But the basic secret is this. Suppose I don't have calmness of mind, Shamaha. Then before that, what is there? Vairagya, in the usual sequence. Here it is Viveka and Vairagya. So let me strengthen the dispassion. See exactly what Swami Turiyanji said. Swami Turiyanji was asked, Onnom chinta mone dhoke kana. Why do other thoughts come into the mind? Mind is restless. He, instead of saying, oh, try to make the mind steady, he said, no, you are letting the thoughts enter. You want it, that's why they are entering. So Vairagya, go back to, I don't want anything in this world. Your mind will become steady. How? Someone in the morning asked about these new technology, the mobiles and all. So, how these train us to be distracted. So there was a documentary, an engineer working with, I think, Facebook. The social network, yes. And before that also gave an interview on 60 Minutes. The social dilemma. Social dilemma or something like that, yes. So some of you might have seen it. It created a sensation a few, 1 year, 2 years back. But what they say is they design these phones so that they will distract us. They design these phones to distract us. Have you noticed those who keep the phone on, sometimes you will hear, tung, one beep. What has happened? Nothing. I say. Not I say. There is uske piche shadyantra hai. There is a conspiracy behind it. The engineer said, see, this is the same psychology which works with Las Vegas gambling machines. How do people get addicted to gambling? After coming to India, I saw this advertisements on jua khelna. Advertisements on that only people jo sust have manasik roop se they can play. It's like a big industry now, gambling. But you should be a adult. But not just Las Vegas, India. It's now online. You don't have to go to Las Vegas for it. It's online. Yes. Or whatever it is. Okay, now everybody's excited. Lottery. वेदांत तो ठीक है वैसे ही है, but lottery is the असली बात है. In Uttarakhand, we are here now, and also in UP. So one thing they do to Mahatmas is, they will serve the Mahatmas well. After giving food and bhiksha, they will say, Mahatma ji, number bata dijiye. Tell us a number which they will use for the lottery. Number, no, it's a big thing. In those days, nowadays it's online, but this was 20, 25 years ago it was there. So one sadhu, he told me, Punjabi sadhu, he said to me, so once I was going on Tirtha Yatra from Mathura to Vrindavan, I'll tell you in Hindi, so then I'll translate. मथुरा से वृंदावन चल रहा, कोई आया, सेठ जी बहुत सेवा किया, फिर बताया महात्मा जी नंबर बता दीजिए. तो I asked him, what did you do? तो क्या किया? मैंने कहा, ठीक है तुम यहीं बैठो, मैं वृंदावन से आ रहा हूँ, बता दूंगा. तो मैंने से तब क्या किया फिर? और क्या करते महात्मा जी, वृंदावन में रह गए 7 साल. So the translation is, this monk, somebody served, he was on his way to Vrindavan for Tirtha, on his way from Mathura to Vrindavan, somebody served him and offered him food and his bhiksha and everything. Finally said, tell me a number for the lottery. This is something that monks don't like at all. This is miserable stuff. So this monk said, all right, what to do? All right, you sit here. I'm going to Vrindavan. On my way back, I will tell you. It's not, as you know, it's not very far, Mathura to Vrindavan. On my way back, I will tell you the number for your lottery. So I asked him, then what did you do? Because he'll be waiting for you. He said, what will I do? I just went into Vrindavan and stayed there for 7 years. So that's what you can do as a monk. You can go anywhere, you can stay anywhere. There is no bondage on you. Why did we come to lottery? Oh, the phone. So now they have used that same technology for the phone. The lottery machine technology is this, psychology is this, that sometimes it lets you win and sometimes you lose. You mostly lose, but it is random. It's not very predictable statistically. If you win all the time, it will become boring. If you lose all the time, nobody will play. If you lose most of the time also, nobody will play. But randomly, if you once in a while you win, वो आशा बनी रहेगी कि let me play once more, let me play once more. That's how people become addicted. एक बार बस, one more time, surely I will win. No chance, but surely I will win. Actually, there is a small chance you will win, and that's what hooks people on. ठीक है, this is the gambling machine technology and psychology. How they have applied to the phones. The psychologists were saying they employ big psychologists in Google, Facebook, and all that. They said, so whenever one message comes, one advertisement comes, one social media update comes, you hook it to some trigger, like a sound, like a vibration, and when the person sees it, he will get what is called a little dopamine kick, a little release of dopamine in the brain, which makes you feel a little better, just a tiny bit better. Now he is using
this conditioning. He is linking your brain, training your brain to make you feel a little better with that sound, tung, so that you will look at the phone just for 10 seconds. That's all. 20 seconds and then back. क्या फायदा है उनको ये करने से? फायदा ये money. It's all about money. The more, see, there's a lot of content on the internet. So by giving better content, you can't attract people. Advertisers want the people to see their advertisements. They're willing to pay if people will look at their phones. So can you train people to become addicted to their phones? If people become addicted to their phones, then the advertisement revenue will go up. And the way to get them addicted is this way. Make them feel a little better every time they look at the phone. A tiny bit better. So it becomes a habit. All this may sound esoteric, but it's very, 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 very real. How will you know? When you are asked to switch off the mobile for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, uneasy. Keep the mobile away for 1 day, you'll keep feeling like, I want to see, what am I missing? Nothing you're missing. There is nothing. So they have a term for this, FOMO, fear of missing out. Now they have invented a counter term, JOMO, joy of missing out. Joy of missing out. So it is because of this addiction which we have already developed. We don't know. Unknowingly, millions and millions of people all over the world are a little bit or more addicted to the phone. And how to check? When you yourself stop using 1 hour, 12 hours, 24 hours, 1 week, you'll see how you feel. First you will feel very bad. That's a sign of addiction. And that breaks. So that is shamaha. It makes the mind very restless. If you have a phone on, sitting and meditating, one little sound, one little beep, one little flash. Kya aaya hai? Nothing. Till date, nothing has come which is important in your life. But one psychologist says, every time you're doing something serious, focusing, and every time you break it to look at the phone and come back, you know how much time it takes, according to the psychologist, how much time it takes to regain deep concentration? 15 to 20 minutes. We think 1 or 2 minutes I'll be focused. No. What is lost there, it takes 15 to 20 minutes to come back into that flow again. If at all. So, the trick is, every time you have some problem in Sadhana Chatushtay, go back to the earlier one. If the problem is in Shamaha, go back to Vairagya. If the problem is in Vairagya, go back to Viveka. Don't try to, I have so many desires, Swami, I am struggling to give up the desires. The answer is don't. Go back to discernment, Viveka. This is completely worthless. What I am looking for, Brahman, is more worthwhile. And this will come slowly in stages. Upanishad does not say Brahman and the world. Upanishad says Shreya and Preya. Higher and lower, good and pleasant. If you are studying, if your aim is to finish a project and submit a paper, and then the phone is there, or a TV serial is there, the TV serial is presenting itself and the paper, your work is presenting itself. Good and the pleasant. Let go of the pleasant, pick up the good. This is Viveka. Whatever is higher and purposeful, what I have decided, can you hold on to that? If you cannot hold on to that, something is sweeping you away again and again. That sweeping away, that comes because of the pleasant, the easier alternative, the default setting. Then, number 6, Shama. We're talking about Shama. Shama means quietude of mind, quietness of mind. Sadaiva vasanatyagaha, sadaiva vasanatyagaha, shamoyam iti shabditaha, shamoyam iti shabditaha, nigraho bahya vrittinam, nigraho bahya vrittinam, dama ityabhidhiyate, dama ityabhidhiyate. Abandonment of desires at all times is called Shama, and restraint of external functions of the organs is called Dhamma. Actually, the direct meanings are not these. Shama and Dhamma. Shama means quiet mind. Dhamma means quiet body. Shama, it means internally quiet. not restless. Not continuously engaged with the world. And in our case, what happens? Either we are engaged with the world, busy, or if you shut down the world, sit quietly, then it becomes busy inside. Daydreaming, imagination. If you shut that down also, falls asleep. So, our idea is the mind will quietly focus on the object which we want. Vedanta, for example. Neither get distracted here or there, nor flow out into the world and be engaged with the world. So this is Shamaha. But here, Shankaracharya does not say that. He goes to the root of the problem. Why is the mind restless? Why is the mind restless? Why does the mind, if I decide to focus and I cannot focus, why? He says, always it is desire. Preconditioned. The mind is already conditioned. And the mind flows in those directions. If at the root of it all is desire, lack of vairagya. Again, he's going back there. Vasana tyaga. If the vairagya is there, mind will settle down much more easily. Arjuna asks Krishna this question, 6th chapter. Why is it so difficult to meditate? His words were more harsh to Krishna. After Krishna spends the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita teaching him meditation, you know what's Arjuna's reaction? It's useless. Yogastvaya aprokta, the meditation that you have taught me, O Krishna, it's useless, it's impractical. Why? Because it all depends on controlling the mind, and I can't control the mind. Krishna says, you are right, mind is difficult to control, but not impossible. And then he gives the solution. Man ekagra kaise ho? Sri Krishna says, abhyasa vairagya abhyam tu grihyate. It is through systematic practice and dispassion, this vasana tyaga, vairagya. Meditation is possible, regular meditation, sit for meditation morning and evening, but by itself that's not enough. The real thing is to cut at the root of that which is tying us to the external world, that I have something to gain from it. Whether it is mobile, whether it is that person, whether it is money, some anxiety, fear, anxiety, terror, temptation, all of these are distracting my mind outside. And vairagya, I don't care. Like Swami Turiyanji said, no admission. Stop. Then, and after that regular practice, that will do the trick. Sri Ramakrishna gave the example of जो लोग गंगा पार हो रहे थे, पिए हुए थे, नौका में बैठ गए और रात भर they kept pulling the oars. सुबह आई तो वो जहाँ के वहीं. They forgot to untie the boat, to lift the anchor. What is that anchor? What anchors us to the world here? Desire, vasana. So he says, quietude, a secret, one secret of quietening the mind, main secret, vasana tyagaha. Continue, let go, vasana, desire, I want this from the external world. No. If I want only thing, God realization, nothing else. You might say, bolna asan hai, but it's, my mind tells me I want these and other things. All right, doesn't matter. We have conditioned the mind like that, but at least start making an effort. When the mind says, I want that, say, I don't want it. Because only result of wanting those things is restless mind. Restless mind. Then damaha, nigraha bahya vrittinam dama ityabhidhiyate. The control of the restlessness of the body. Hands are moving all the time. Eyes are restless. Legs want to walk. Let me take a quick walk and come back. No. Settle down. Stay. Damaha. There are many things to be said about each one of them. See, when we make the body oversensitive, one yogi was saying this, oversensitive. Too hot, too cold, I become restless. And this is lack of dhamma. He was saying, somebody asked the yogi, how do I control this sensitivity of the body? He gave many detailed hints. For example, he was in India, in a hot place. So in the night when you're lying down to sleep, don't switch on the fan until it becomes unbearable. Try to lie down, relax and sleep without the fan. And nowadays, of course, AC. When it's unbearable, not when you feel a little bit hot, when you put on the AC, no. When it's too cold, do not put on the quilt on your body, rajai, until it's, you're shaking you're shaking with the cold. Until that time, don't put it on. Why? Why do this? Because I've seen it. In the West, what they do is everything is temperature controlled. Because of a harsh environment, everything is temperature controlled. So all the time, you are perfectly at 71 degrees. There 71 degrees, now you're 21 degrees or 20 degrees. Comfortable. Outside it may be minus 15, minus 16. Hey, you're 71 degrees. 21 degrees. Comfortable, cool, relaxed. If you do that, what happens is, I've noticed, when you come back to India, little bit more, 2 degrees more, 2 degrees less, बहुत गर्मी है और बहुत ठंडी है. No. You have made the body more sensitive. The body will adjust accordingly. If you are allowing the body to adjust to plus 10 degrees and minus 10 degrees, plus that range, 10 degrees more or 10 degrees less, okay, I don't need any support from AC or fan or in a heater, then you will see body also will adjust. In Calcutta, very hot. So America, they use Fahrenheit. To describe Calcutta, I say 100 degrees, that is Fahrenheit, and humidity 100%. So 100 degrees and 100% humidity. It's like sitting in a hot soup. But just sitting, you will get drenched in sweat. So I used to think, I can't meditate, it's impossible. It's too hot, I'm too sweaty. Then I read Swami Vivekananda ji, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. In Allahabad में जो मठ है, रामकृष्ण मठ, वो प्रतिष्ठा किए थे. तब के दिनों में, जब कोई फैन नहीं थी, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी नहीं थी, in that soaring temperature in Allahabad, sit and meditate straight. If it became too hot, he would wet a towel with towel with water and put it on his head. Sit and meditate 10, 12 hours a day. He did not think, fan nahi hai, AC nahi hai, bahut garmi hai. No. This is Dhamma Nigraho Bahya Vritti Nam Dhamma Ityuchyate. Then the next one is Uparati. Vishayebhya paravritti, Vishayebhya paravritti, Paramoparatirhisa, Paramoparatirhisa, Sahanam sarva dukkhanam, Sahanam sarva dukkhanam, Titiksha sa shubhamata, Titiksha sa subhamata. Uparati and Titiksha. Next two practices. First we'll take up Titiksha. Very important. Titiksha means Sahan Shakti. The ability, in Bengali, Shojjo kara. Sahana. That is, tolerate extremes, difficulties. For what? For my purpose. How much trouble you put up? How much trouble you put up to hold a job? Person is feeling sick, but you have to go to office because they are paying you. How much trouble you put up to raise a family? Yeah. From childhood until they're grown up, how much trouble? You have to earn money, put them through school and guide them through all sorts of problems, and your life is always secondary compared to, you do it happily because you love the kids. But you put up with a lot of trouble because there is some goal. The children are the goal, or the job is the goal, career is the goal. You're building a business empire. 16 hours, 8. How long is it? It's legendary in America now. They talk about Elon Musk working hours. He works, 100 hours a week or something like that. 16 to 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day he works. To make billions of dollars, how much trouble you're putting up with? I read one person was fired from a company, this Tesla company. And then he was saying, in order to hold on to the job, this poor man, he could not go home. He used to sleep in his car after office hours. And in the company, in the office bathroom, he used to take shower so that he can stay in the office and work day and night in order to prevent the trouble of going and coming from home. Still, he was fired from the job. Now, how much trouble you take for all these things? With less trouble, you can realize God. With less trouble. Swami Ramakrishna used to tell young people coming to Belur Math to become monks. At that time, they were university students. He would say the amount of struggle you do to pass an examination in the university, with less effort and less sacrifice, you can realize God. Less than that. You have to put in some work, but less than that. So this ability to put up with trouble, with hardship, with struggles, and pursue Vedanta nevertheless, this is called Titiksha. Titiksha. Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, they gave a lot of emphasis on this word, Shojjokara. In Sri Ramakrishna's words, Bengali, he made a pun with those words. I'll tell you and try to translate. He said, Je Shai She Rai, Je Nashai Tar Nashai. Je Shai, the one who puts up, one is able to withstand. That person will exist, will survive, will go on. The one who doesn't want to put up with anything, rebels at everything, it's too much, too difficult, that person will perish, will be destroyed. Je Shai She Rai, Je Nashai Tar Nashai. He's playing on the words. So this titiksha. Shankaracharya has given a definition here. His famous definition is in Vivek Chudamani. Another work, famous work of Shankaracharya. There he has said, Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam satitiksha nigadyate. Putting up with all sorts of troubles without anxiety or worry, without lamenting, giving expression. Life, how is life going on? Going on. So without expressing your difficulty and struggle, and without trying to remedy it, you have to handle that carefully, without trying to remedy it also. Focus on spirituality. Don't let the world distract you with the troubles it throws at you. All those troubles are coming from our past karma, basically. Now, one has to be careful. You can ask questions in the quick Q&A which is coming up now. Without trying to remedy it, without making any differences, that you have to be careful. Because there is a whole range. Either we are very busy trying to solve our problems, or we just make as much necessary arrangement and then get on with the main task of our life, which is spirituality, God realization. If you let any little thing in the world distract you from your spiritual path, then you'll never progress. But if you don't attend to the problems which are coming, health problem, monetary problem, if you don't attend to them, if you don't do the minimum necessary, they will make so much trouble in your life you can't be spiritual. Your job, you have to turn up. If they're paying you, you can't say that, I don't care. I will be Vedantic. They'll fire you. Then where will you be? So you need to do the minimum necessary. Do it as karma yoga. Whatever has to be done in the world, do it as karma yoga. Somebody has some physical problem. Pain is there, physical pain. If you don't show it to the doctor, if you don't get some kind of medicine, some treatment, it will become so much. You think, I'll bear it. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. I'll bear with all the pain. After some time, very quickly, it will become unbearable. Then your Vedanta is gone. So better attend to it. Go to the doctor, have it treated, and when the treatment is going on, nothing will be cured immediately. There you practice titiksha. Yes, I am taking the necessary measures. Doctor has told me to do this. I am following the prescriptions. Now let me not worry about it. Jo hoga dekha jayega. Let me focus on Vedanta. Otherwise, continuously worrying about that. So it's a delicate balance of neglecting everything, then it will be too much trouble. Or getting too much involved with those things, then also trouble, but then you will forget Vedanta also. So focus on Vedanta and put up with the troubles, manage these troubles so that they do not distract you. You should be, main thing is to keep on progressing towards God. There is a range. Physical illness, will you go to the doctor or not? Depends. Swami Turiyanandaji himself here, he would not do that. Even he was doing tapasya in the mountains. Once he had such a serious problem near Rishikesh, one remote place. Serious stomach ailment. He was on the verge of fainting. And he thought, let me go to the nearby village and look for a doctor. And he was going to go there and suddenly he remembered. For the monk, God alone is the Narayana Vaidya. And Gangajal is the dawai, is the medicine. And he took some Ganga water and went back and laid down. Luckily he was cured. Now that is Aushadam Vaidya Narayana Harihi. And Aushadam Janhavi Toyam. Toyam means water, Janhavi means Ganga. Now that's an extreme. Do you all have to follow that, or do all monks have to follow that? Not necessarily. If it is too much trouble and taking you away from your thought of God, then attend to it. Take the medicine, ask the doctor. But don't get involved in that also. That's also another thing. I have this problem, I have that problem. In Purulia Ramakrishna Mission, one senior Swami told me a story. A little boy, class 4 or 5, 9 years or 10 years old, with a very thick glasses, very serious professor-like expression, coming from the dispensary. And the monk asked him, "What happened to you?" He said, "Eosinophilia bedhe gache amar." My eosinophilia is little higher. Something that you might expect at 75 years, or my triglycerides are little. He's 9 years old. Don't be too busy with the body. Then, when you put up with all kinds of troubles, then a power also grows within you. Vishayebhya paravritti paramo uparati hisa. Uparati, the next practice is uparati. Too much engagement with the world. No Vedanta is possible, but no bhakti is possible, no meditation is possible. Dhyana, yoga, bhakti, nothing is possible if we have too much involved with the world. I'll go to all family functions. I'll watch all the TV serials or whatever is available now. In earlier TV serials used to be there, now something else. And I'll be on social media also. Plus, I will meditate and get samadhi and get parabhakti like Meera and Ramakrishna and get brahmajnana like Shankaracharya. Not possible. Not possible. At one place you have to step back. Uparati. Rati means too much engagement with the world, completely involved with the world. Uparati, reverse. Pulling back. Many people who come to Vedanta have this common question. I'm losing interest in many things I was interested earlier. And people in the family are also complaining. You're not interested in these things. Swami Ashokanji used to say, good riddance to bad rubbish. This is a sign of maturity. At one time, you must step back. Daily, every week there is a party, some shadi, somewhere. Once in a while it's all right. In the initial years also it may be all right, at some concession. But when you are 30, 40, 50 years age, why keep on doing the same thing? ये तो खेल अभी समाप्त होने वाली है. When the old gentleman sitting and playing cards, Sri Ramakrishna looked at them and said, hasn't the time come to call on God yet? That means you are in the evening of your life. This most precious life is almost over. It's almost over. The time has come. Quick, quick. So this is called Uparati. Then, number 8. Nigamacharya vakyeshu. Nigamacharya vakyeshu. Bhakti shraddheti vishruta. Bhakti shraddheti vishruta. Chittaikagram tu sallakshye. Chittaikagram tu sallakshye. Samadhanam iti smritam. Samadhanam iti smritam. Implicit faith in the words of the Vedas and the teachers who interpret them is known as Shraddha, and concentration of the mind on the only object Sat is regarded as Samadhana. So 2 more practices. Shraddha and Samadhana. Take up Samadhana first. Samadhana is focus. Focus. It is settle down. We were very scattered earlier. Now we have Uparati, we have pulled back. We are not letting the world disturb us. Titiksha. So we have got Uparati and Titiksha so that now we have time. We have energy. At least some more time, some more energy. Now what will you do with that time and energy? You focus it on Vedanta. You focus it on your sadhana in general, here on Vedanta. This is called Samadhana. Focus, stay with it. The action, the deck is cleared for action. So this action will be Vedanta. Samadhana is the focus. Chitta ekagram tu sat lakshe. Sat, Brahman, existence, one existence everywhere. There is focus on Vedanta, focus on the Vedantic teachings, on Sat, on Brahman. This is called Samadhanam. Now, Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. What faith? Nigamacharya vakyeshu bhakti shraddha iti vishruta. Nigama means the texts, Upanishads, the commentary, Bhagavad Gita, the commentaries of Shankaracharya, and other texts like this, which want to convey the essential message of the Upanishads to us. A faith in that. Faith means, what is here I may not understand, but there is something really valuable and true here. This kind of a feeling. They're really trying to convey something most valuable to us, most worthwhile to us. This devotion, At first, I have not understood. I have not become enlightened. But I think it's really valuable. This kind of a feeling, this will sustain us through spiritual life. Otherwise, after some time, I tried this, got bored, move on to something else. Very soon, zero. Life is getting over. Sri Ramakrishna said, you have a string of zeros. Total, zero. But you put one before it, and then every zero will get its value. Whatever we are doing in life is the string of zeros. But you put one before it, one, Sri Ramakrishna does not explain. One means spirituality, in whichever form, like this also, or bhakti, whichever form you get. Put one before it, everything else will get value. Every zero has its value. So this faith that one is here in these teachings, it is really valuable for me. Once one begins to understand, then it's not a question of Shraddha. There's two words, Shraddha, Nishtha. So what begins as Shraddha? I have deep faith. What Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharda, Vivekananda have said, it is true. They can't be wrong. With my faith in them, with my faith in the great Mahapurushas, with my faith in Upanishad, Gita, I start my spiritual life. I have belief. I have respect for this. Then after some time, I will begin to see for myself. It's true. Once I have seen for myself, it's not a question of faith or Shraddha anymore. It's now a question of Nishtha, staying with it. I know it is true. Stay with it. Be centered in it. Shraddha will continue. After enlightenment, will Shraddha go away? See, Shraddha basically means I believe. इसको विश्वास करते हैं हम. अब जान लिया, विश्वास, when is the question of belief or Vishwas? When you don't know something. Without knowing it, I believe. Why? Because somebody said so. Mahapurush log bole hain. Our tradition is like this. Or our Vedas and Upanishads and Gita say this. All this is I believe. आप क्या देखे हो? आप जानते हो? No. But I believe. This is how spiritual life will continue. But until when you begin to see it, जब देख लिए, जब समझ में लिए, जब वस्तु पकड़ में आ गई, तब वही श्रद्धा. Then you cannot say I believe. You have to say I know. I know. I don't believe. I know. Then that knowledge will become nishtha. You'll be centered. It's not that now I have known, let me go on and do something else. Done. हो गया वेदांत. अब जाए, let's do some. Let me put it on social media status, Facebook, enlightened, Brahmagyani. No. You will stay with that Vedanta. You will stay with that bhakti. अब वो बन गई निष्ठा. इसलिए that's why the Vedantin, we are Vedanta students, we are Jigyasu. But after some time, when you become advanced, they are called Brahmanishtha. Brahmanishtha. Centered in Brahman. They don't believe anymore, they know. This is the beauty of the Vedanta. Very soon you will see it as a reality. Undeniable reality. So that becomes, that Shraddha, starts at Shraddha, becomes Nishtha. Then last. Samsara bandha nirmukti. Samsara bandha nirmukti. Katham me syat kada vidhe. Katham me syat kada vidhe. Iti ya sudridha buddhi. Iti ya sudridha buddhi. Vaktavyasa mumukshuta. Vaktavyasa mumukshuta. When and how shall I, O Lord, be free from the bonds of this world, births and deaths? Such a burning desire is called mumukshuta. This intense desire for freedom from samsara, from freedom from this limited condition of little pleasure, lot of pain, going on like this. Will you be born again? Do you want again to come to this world? You cannot help it until you get moksha. So moksha, I want freedom from this limited existence. How will you get? You have to ask this question. Where did this bondage come? What is the nature of this bondage? Why am I like this? How will I get freedom? You're saying Brahmagyana. How will I get Brahmagyana? Aham Brahmasmi. How will I feel that? This is the question you should go to Mahatma, not number bata dijiye. Number bata dijiye. And we face another kind of set of questions. School, hospital. How can I get my child admitted in your school? It's a good question. But higher question, if you go to Mahatma, then you have to ask, Karam me mukti syat, how will I get freedom from samsara? And that is the question which they really want you to ask, not other things. All right. So this is called mumukshuta. Fourfold qualification. Number one, Viveka. In this case, he has put Vairagya number one. So anyway, Viveka number one, not discrimination, discernment, separation. Then Vairagya, dispassion, very central in spiritual life. Just think about it. If you have this feeling, I don't want anything from the world. Now look at your problems, what you think of top 10 problems or top 5 problems in your life. Most of the problems will either be gone or will be much less. That means in the seriousness of the problems, we contribute ourselves to a lot to it. Like Swami Turiyanji said to that monk who asked, why do other thoughts come into my mind? Onno chinta kano ashe? Tumi aste dao tai ashe? So Vairagya, second. Then the 6 treasures, which we studied just now. 6 treasures, Shat Sampatti. This is the credit you have got when you're going on a spiritual journey. So what are the 6 treasures? Shamaha, quietness of mind. Damaha, control, stillness of the body. Then Uparati, pulling back from too much engagement with the world. Then Titiksha, putting up with all sorts of troubles. Then Samadhana, focus. Then Shraddha, deep faith. Something here, kuch hai ispe. And then finally Mumukshutvam, intense desire for freedom. Then Swami, I don't have that. I have a little desire for freedom. God realization. I have little desire for God realization, but not intense. Then what do you have to do? Go back to the earlier 6 disciplines. The more you quieten the mind, the more you still the body, the more you have dispassion for the worldly activities, focus on spiritual life, put up with worldly problems, Shraddha Shakti, and a deep faith in what these scriptures are saying, you will see your mumukshutvam will increase. That secret, if one is not high enough, not intense enough, go to the earlier one. If that is not strong enough, go to the earlier one. That is not strong enough. Finally come back to Viveka. So Viveka is not strong enough. Then study Vedantic texts. This will make Viveka. Spiritual life. Read the lives of the saints. Read Bhakti Shastra, Jnana Shastra, all these things. Viveka will increase. And then Vairagya will come. So this is the causal link. Alright, let me do a peace chant and then we have got some time for Q&A. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. When we give such a long list of practices, requirements, qualifications, sadhan chatushta, people feel, तो ये हमारे लिए नहीं है, हमसे नहीं होगा. But we all have it. Unless you had viveka, that there is something valuable, something worthwhile for my life happening here. Why would you take so much trouble to come here? Why would you spend so much time here? So we all have viveka. We also all have vairagya. We have, in economics they say opportunity cost. You take something, So economics, you have something called opportunity cost. If you take something, you have given up the option of taking other things. You buy something with your money, and then the rest of the things in your shop which you did not buy is your opportunity cost. So you have a big opportunity cost. You have come here, sitting here hour after hour, listening to these abstruse texts. How much you have given up? Right now you could be looking at your mobile. You have given up that. तो कौन कहता है वैराग्य नहीं है? वैराग्य है हमने. Shat Sampatti also we have got. Some quietness, Shama and Dhamma, because you are sitting quietly here for the last 1.5 hours. Throughout the day you are sitting quietly. Uparati, you are withdrawn from many possible worldly activities to be here. It's a sacrifice. Samadhana, you are listening carefully, focused way to this. Shraddha, there is some faith. If you thought it was all nonsense, it's all superstition, why would you come here? So all this we have, some desire for God realization, mumukshutva is there. So हम में है, साधन चतुष्टय है, लेकिन इसको बढ़ाना है. We have to take it to a level of excellence. अच्छा, the usual way we will do question answer. So please announce.
I'll request those who have questions to ask to Maharaj to please form a queue in this aisle. Please come forward and form a queue.
Come.
And we have time till 5:30, so we'll see how many questions can be accommodated.
Lighter note, I think nobody will complain. All right, let's start. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Pranam Maharaj, my name is Shagor Sengupta. I am from Kolkata. My question is, pure consciousness, is that self-aware, like the way we are now?
कठिन प्रश्न है महात्मा जी. अच्छा. What he's asking is pure consciousness. We keep talking about pure consciousness. Is it self-aware? Is it aware of itself? What does it mean, self-aware? Just like we are aware now. I exist. I know so many things, and I am aware of myself. I can say I exist. It has very deep philosophical implications, what you are asking. So I'm presuming you are not asking just like that. You must have studied Vedanta or heard some Vedanta talks, then you're asking here. All right. The direct answer to your question is yes. But not like how we are aware of ourselves now. There is a term in Vedanta called Swaprakasha. Swaprakasha. Swaprakasha means, the example is, see, the things in this room would be dark without the light. So when you switch on the light, then you can see all the things in this room. Prakasha, what does light do? It reveals things which were in darkness. It reveals things which were in darkness. But the light itself, to see the light, you don't need another light. The light reveals all these things, and it is also self-revealed. Now here's the question. So far with me? Light reveals these objects, very simple, and it's also self-revealed. But does it reveal itself the way it reveals these objects? These objects are in darkness, the darkness is removed by light. Was the light ever in darkness? No. It cannot be said to reveal itself. It reveals everything else. Things in darkness are revealed by the light. The light itself, another term we have to use, it is self-luminous, swaprakasha. But this is an example. Actually, light is not self-luminous. If you close your eyes, no light. So the light is also revealed by the eyes. If our attention is not there on our eyes, even if your eyes are open, you are not seeing. So mind is revealing the eyes, or the information from the eyes. And what is in the mind, the contents of the mind, are also revealed by consciousness, Chaitanya. So this consciousness you're talking about, the term which we used is Swaprakasha. It reveals everything and is doesn't reveal itself, it is self-luminous. Upanishads say, Tameva bhantam manubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Kathopanishad, Mundakopanishad. That shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is illumined. You, the self shining, everything else shines. Means the mind shines with a light borrowed by the self. Borrowed from the self. Borrowed from the self. The indriya, sense organs, shine with the light borrowed from the mind. And when you open your eyes and ears and all, the whole world shines in the light of your senses. This is the inside-out view in Vedanta. But the self itself does not depend on anything else for its revelation. That's why it's called self-luminous. However, if you persist in your question, you will see it's not totally answered your question. Let me give you a much more subtle answer. You have to think about it. What does consciousness do for the objects, and what do the objects do for consciousness? चैतन्य जड़ के लिए क्या करता है? चैतन्य जड़ को प्रकाशित करता है. This is jada. It is illumined by consciousness. It was dark. Now you put it in front of light, you can see it. Every object in the world is revealed by consciousness. That is what consciousness does to the object. Consciousness, Chaitanya, object, Jada. But what does the object do for consciousness? Manifests. That which is not manifest in itself, not very clear, is उसको प्रकट करता है, व्यक्त करता है. जो अव्यक्त है उसको व्यक्त कर देता है. For example, here it looks like space. This space and that space, they look alike. Here, this space right now you can see in front of me, and that space here you can see they look alike. But there's something special in that space. You know what it is? It's sunlight. Look. Can you see my hand shining? You can see not only the hand. In this space there is light. It was not clear. Now you see. Not only the hand, the light becomes clear also. What did the light do for the hand? It showed the hand. Prakashit kya, revealed the hand. What does the hand do for the light? जो यहाँ अव्यक्त था वो व्यक्त हो गया. When you experience the world, consciousness reveals the world to itself, but also the world manifests consciousness. Kenopanishad says, Keneshitam patati preshitam mana, Keneshitam vacham imam vadanti, Chakshu shrotram kaudeva yunakti. So, what bright thing enables us to see, hear, smell, taste, touch, think, speak? The one consciousness shining through all of us. But all these activities are also manifesting that consciousness. The same Kenopanishad says, Pratibodha viditam matam. In every experience, every conscious experience, that one consciousness alone, वो एक ही झलकता है हर वक्त. हर वक्त. It's a blaze of light everywhere. So my answer to this is not the final answer. Final answer I will give you. Your question was, is consciousness self-aware? Just like we are self-aware. My answer to you was, yes, it is self-aware, but not like we are self-aware. Now I have just said that consciousness manifests the objects. Consciousness illumines the objects, and the objects manifest consciousness. See? Consciousness illumines the object. Light illumines the hand. And the hand manifests the light. देखो कितना प्रकाशित हो गया ये. Now you might say, in that case, consciousness depends on the object for its manifestation. Not for illumination, but in manifestation. In one sense, yes. But another sense, no. What is the sense in which consciousness does not depend on the object? One is this. Object, ultimately we will see in Aparokshanubhuti. Object is nothing but that consciousness. We will see later. जो जड़ चेतन का विभाग कर दिया हमने ना, वो प्रारंभिक है. बाद में एकत्व आ जाएगा. जड़ ही, चेतन ही जड़ रूप में भासित हो रहा है. So what you call the object is actually consciousness appearing as its own object. So if it is using the object to manifest itself, here the hand and light are different. But if consciousness is using itself as an object to manifest itself, it's not really depending on anything other than itself. That's one. Even more subtle, the second thing is that consciousness really does not depend on any object. It is self-standing, swaprakasha. It is only from the point of view of the mind that we think the mind is manifesting consciousness. That is not really so. Even when the object is there, if you think consciousness is hidden, it's not, in a very subtle sense, it's not hidden. Even without object, consciousness is not hidden. लेकिन ये बहुत सूक्ष्म विचार है. One can go on. This is a big difference between Kashmiri Shaivism and Advaita Vedanta. In Kashmiri Shaivism, the ultimate reality is called, see, in Advaita Vedanta, ultimate reality is light. Light means not this light, consciousness. Prakasha. And Kashmiri Shaivites will say, no, आपका प्रकाश तो पत्थर जैसा है. Without the object, without this object, see this light? No, you can't see it. Without the object, the light also is. With the object, light is also seen. Light shows the object and object manifests the light. Similarly, without a universe, what good is your consciousness? क्या है ब्रह्म प्रकाश, क्या है उसमें? वो तो जड़ है, कुछ नहीं कर पाता है. Then what is your view of ultimate reality? The Kashmiri Shaivites will say, Prakasha Vimarsha Swarupa. Your consciousness and self-aware. Our ultimate reality, Shiva, is pure consciousness, just like your Advaita Brahma, but also self-aware. Shiva knows, I am. What do Advaitins say to this? A long back and forth. Really there isn't, but Advaitins can say something. Advaitins did not say anything, but Advaitins will say, आप वो चैतन्य स्वरूप में मन को ले आए हैं. You are importing something vyavaharika into the paramarthika. When you say prakasha, vimarsha, vimarsha is an activity of buddhi, of mind. You're bringing mind and buddhi into you're mixing up the paramarthik and vyavaharik levels. Anyway, so this discussion goes on. The final answer to your question is, yes, it is self-aware, but not like this self-awareness which we have right now. In a very subtle sense, the self-awareness is its very nature. Just I can't resist. There's a long discussion about this in one of the most difficult texts of Advaita Vedanta called Tattva Pradipika, written by a great master, Shankaracharya. What you ask, this self-awareness. He says, what is this Swaprakasha, self-luminosity? And he gives definition of self-luminosity. One definition, rejected. Second definition, rejected. Third definition. 10 definitions he rejects, defective definitions. Finally he arrives at his own definition, the Advaita definition of self-luminosity. I'll just give you the definition, the translation, stop, because the understanding the definition, the whole class will be required. What is that? Avedyatve sati aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam. This is swaprakashatvam. Self-luminosity, consciousness, what you're asking. Though it never becomes an object, pure consciousness never becomes an object, it is always known as aparoksha. As aparoksha vyavahara, it is always known. It is fit to be recognized as aparoksha. This Aparokshanubhuti, yes. It's not an object. Then you say not known then? No, it is known. How? Aparokshataya. Sakshat aparokshat brahma. That's it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for taking such a long time, but he asked a question which is very dear to Mahatmas. So I tend to go on. Yes.
Pranam Maharaj, thank you so much. I'm very grateful to listen to you in person. My question is two things interlinked to one another. The first is, earlier you were speaking about drashta and drishya. So is it correct to say that in our lives when a negative karma appears, we see that there is some probably bad karma, that things are happening to us. We know that we are the sakshi and we're just witnessing it as, this is happening as an appearance. It's not really real. And the second part to that is that, for example, when we talk about vairagya and we think that we shouldn't do things selfishly, so we are having some type of doership if we think that we are helping people who are poor or who are disabled, who are also technically going through their bad karma. So do we also look at that as an appearance, or only for ourselves we look as an appearance, but we still help them knowing that this is still an appearance?
Okay, there are multiple questions in that. When you say, I look upon myself as drashta, as sakshi, and then negative karma comes, some bad things happen. Remember, the bad things will always happen at the physical level, at the mental level, at the social level. All of that is part of the drishya. So it's an appearance, it's not real, that you put it aside, that we'll see later. But that drashta and drishya, this vibhaga, this division, it gives you a space. So there's a difference between, I am not the book, I am separate from the book. That does not mean book is false, book is an appearance, मिथ्या, सच भी हो सकता है, लेकिन हमसे अलग है. पहले तो ये समझ लेना चाहिए कि ये हम नहीं है, हमसे अलग है. किताब को कुछ हो गया, इसमें गीला हो गया, कुछ हो गया, तो I am not affected by it. I am separate from it. Similarly, this understanding that the world, the body, objects, my thoughts, they are all separate from me, drishya. वो सच है या झूठ है वो बाद में देखा जाएगा. One Mahatma said nicely, this world, ये सिनेमा है या थिएटर है ये बाद में देखेंगे, लेकिन आपसे तो अलग है, आप साक्षी हैं, आप दृष्टा हैं, आप ऑडियंस हैं. So when you go to you're seeing something, whether it's a theatrical observation, Broadway play, or Hollywood cinema. See, the difference between play and cinema is what? In a Broadway play, there is actually a stage. There are actually actors. There are actually props. And something is happening on stage. And in a movie, there's no actor. Nothing is there. It's just pictures and sound and light on a screen. One is real, one is an appearance. But in both cases, you are not part of it. You are in the audience. तो हम अपना अलगाव वो समझ लीजिए. It will make it much easier to deal with the problems, with the effects of bad karma. If I think I am personally involved in all this, it becomes very difficult. Just imagine, if your friend, or even better, someone distant whom you are not very close with, comes to you with those same problems, how will you deal with them? You will offer some advice. You will tell them to deal with it calmly, with strength, with openness, with clarity. with fortitude. Now imagine you are your own friend and you are telling yourself that. How would you advise yourself in that difficult circumstance? So this is the first step. Now about others. Don't apply that appearance nature. Don't tell them, Jagat to mithya. If people are suffering, you are Brahman. It will not work. It will never work. First, one has to be sympathetic. One has to sympathize with the problems, the struggles of the other person. And if somebody has suffered a lot, they can sympathize more with others. And then only you can advise them. First, advise them about Ishvara Bhakti, that worship of God, which will help them out of that problem. Give them some solid advice about the practical aspects of the problem. Then only Vedanta works much later. So Vedanta is a sort of high-level solution, deep solution for everything, but not immediately. Never regard others as appearances. This Jagat Mithya, immediately we think it means everything else is everything is unreal. My own problems are unreal, everybody else's problems. But this is not the implication of Vedanta. I'll tell you something here. It's useful for understanding Vedanta throughout. Two things we will learn in Vedanta. One will be tomorrow, and the next one will be in the afternoon tomorrow also, or day after morning. Two important parts of Vedanta. One is separation of self and not self. Atma Anatma Vichara, or what is called Viveka here. I, not I. Subject, object. Drashta, Drishya. Atma, Anatma. Very important for Vedanta. But it is not the teaching of Vedanta. It is all for ultimately Vedanta is oneness. Not separation, not two. Not Atma, Anatma. This Atma, Anatma will take you and drop you on the shores of Sankhya. Ye Sankhya Vivek hai. Self and not self. I am conscious, these are objects. This separation is very essential for Vedanta. You will see, after doing a detailed analysis, Shankaracharya will say, what is the point of it? It's still dualistic. So anyway, first thing is, Atma and Atma Vichara, which we will do, it's not the ultimate teaching of Vedanta. But why do we do it? It's a step. There's another step which also confuses us. Jagat Mithyatva. The world is an appearance. But that also is not the ultimate teaching of Vedanta. The ultimate teaching of Vedanta is Advaya Brahma, one reality. As Vivekananda said, the divinity within ourselves and the oneness of all existence. How will you prove the oneness of all existence? One way is the Vedantic teaching of Jagat Mithyatva. The world is not a separate reality from you. It's an appearance in you, the consciousness. If it's an appearance in you, the consciousness, it's not different from you. Follow this. Right now, what does it look like? You're all different from each other. You're all separate. You have your lives, they have their lives, I have my own life. It seems separate. But when you see, if you see everything else as an appearance in you, the consciousness, then they are not separate. Like in our dreams, when we wake up from our dreams, whatever we saw in our dreams, because it is a dream, we realize it's not separate from the mind. My own mind appeared in those ways. So this not separate, it establishes oneness. And Vedanta does not want to stress the falsity. Vedanta wants to stress the oneness. Vivekananda said here, the oneness of all existence. Falsity of the world is a step to realizing non-duality. That is the Vedantic method of understanding non-duality. Sri Ramakrishna was once asked, is the world false? Jagat ki mitha. And his answer was a very nuanced answer. Mitha keno hobe go. Why should it be false? Oto Vedanter, o bicharer kotha. No, Vedanta Vicharer Katha. Actually, in the book it says Vicharer Katha. What he means is Vedanta Vichar. It's a step in Vedantic reasoning. He did not say world is real. He did not contradict the Vedantic teaching. But he says that's not the end of it. The end of it is Brahman, non-dual Brahman. So, when you say other people, what is Vedanta telling you? Vedanta is not telling you other people are false, appearances, dreams. No, no. What Vedanta is ultimately telling us is that they are other people are not others. They are I myself. So when they are I myself, what is my reaction to them? Just as I take care of myself, I should try at least to take care of others. Not easy. I fail to take care of myself also, let alone others. But still, my reaction should be that. Yeah, this is my answer.
Thank you so much.
This is something we should all take away. What I will do in the next class tomorrow and day after is basically this. I will separate self and not self. Drashta and Drishya. Remember, that's not the goal. Goal is oneness, not separation. Then we will go into falsity of the world. World is false, like a dream, like snake in the rope. But even that is not the teaching of Vedanta. Teaching is oneness. For that oneness, we are doing the separation and falsity of the world and arriving at that oneness. One sadhu who watched my talks on YouTube, actually, he's a traditional teacher of Vedanta in Banaras. Some of his brahmacharis must have seen that. And they told, you are saying like this, but Sarvapriyananda has not said this. So, sadhu, he does not know YouTube and all that so much. He said, who is this Sarvapriyananda? These talks are there, please see. So he also saw. Then he got my number and called me in USA. He is Bengali, so he said to me, Mahatma ji, apni jebhabe padhacchen na, the stress you are putting on drig drishya, on separation, self and not self, pore ekotto korte apnake beg pete hobe. Afterwards, to establish oneness, you will have to struggle a lot. Because what will be established in the minds of people is, I am separate, the world is separate. I am drashta, everything is drishya. I am truth, everything is false. But the truth of Vedanta is that oneness. So it's a delicate balance. Remember, the analysis, the difference comes from Sankhya. And the emphasis on falsity, at least the critics of Vedanta will say it has been imported from Buddhism. It's not a Hindu idea. In one sense, it is true. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya. Sankhya regards the world as real, Prakriti. Yoga regards the world as real, Prakriti. Nyaya regards the world as real, Sapta Padartha. Vaisheshika regards the Shodasha Padartha. Vaisheshika regards the world as real, Sapta Padartha. Purva Mimamsa regards the world as real. Vedanta also regards the world as real, except Ek Lata Advaita Vedanta. It regards the world as Mithya. But for a certain reason. All right.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Sumana and I'm from Bangalore. I asked this question from my own context as a creative practitioner and as a student of the martial arts.
What do you practice?
I'm a musician and I practice the Shaolin martial art, where the body is so central to my practice. And of course there are traditions of somatic practices which talk about body wisdom, leading through the body and setting the mind aside and so on. So I want to know, what is Vedanta's relationship with the body? Is it antagonistic to the body? Is it body agnostic? Does it censor the body? Because today also you were talking about Vairagya and Shama Dhamma, which is sort of quelling the body and the sensorial experiences. So where does body figure in Vedanta?
It's a good question. Even in the martial arts, especially Chinese and Japanese martial arts, you will see there are different levels. It begins with the body, but very soon you see it's not the body so much as the breath. The Chinese call the chi, and the Japanese call the ki. So from body it quickly goes to prana. And the most advanced masters, they say it is not body, not even breath, it's mind. So even martial arts will take you to that level, higher and higher levels, or deeper and deeper levels, as you will. Vedanta wants to take you to the ultimate reality, the nature of all things. The nature of all things is Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss. For that we need to step back, at least initially, from the world outside, from the body, from the prana, from the mind, even from the intellect, into what is beyond the intellect. Vedantins have this saying, Sharira Traya Vilakshana Atma, Panchakosha Vilakshana Atma, Avasthatraya Sakshi Atma. That which is separate, distinct from the three bodies, physical body, subtle body, causal body. That which is distinct from the 5 levels of the human personality. The physical, Annamaya, the vital, Pranamaya, the mental, Manomaya, the intellectual, Vijnanamaya, and the causal, which is Anandamaya. Which is that which is distinct and the witness and the underlying reality of our whole waking experience, dream experience, and deep sleep experience. So it's a very profound system of spiritual philosophy, most profound, I think. Is it You will say, no, but is it antagonistic to the body? Ultimately, no. There are systems which are antagonistic to the body, ascetic systems. Vedanta ultimately is not. Vedanta wants to point out the reality of the body. What is it really? Vedanta wants to point out the reality of the prana, of the mind. If you go to the original sources of Vedanta, not this is an introductory text. You go back to the Upanishad. Body is called the self. Annamaya Atma. What is the self? Body. You know, in Uttarakhand here, Atma, local people they know, especially in the village area, Atma means body. I once went begging for food as a wandering monk, and one farmer, he called me and gave me food to eat. So I'm not a very good eater, I was eating little. So the farmer said, अरे महात्मा जी अब तो पंछी जैसा खाते हैं, पहले आत्मा फिर परमात्मा. So you are eating like a bird. First Atma, Atma means body, then Paramatma. Vedanta is not against the body. The body is the self. The prana is the self. The mind is the self. The intellect is the self. But then they are all transcended to realize the truth of all things, which is underlying. So Vedanta will have no problem with, if you use martial arts and a body-centric approach, a prana-centric approach. They're all helpful from a Vedantic perspective.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Pranam Maharaj. I'm Abhinav Podar from Ludhiana, and I wanted to understand if we can. I wanted to understand if we can get to Nishtha without Shama and Dama, or with less of Shama and Dama.
You can, but then more of Shama and Dama is more helpful for Nishtha. If mind is very restless and the body is also very restless, you still can, because you are the Atman. In one sense, Nishtha means being centered in the Atman. Brahma Nishtha, we say, centered in Brahman. Even the words hide a secret. Centered in Brahman means as if you are not centered and you have to become centered in Brahman. But you are choicelessly centered in Brahman. You are Brahman, whether you like it or not. One sadhu in Gangotri, he used to say to me, आप जानते होंगे लक्ष्मण दास जी थे गंगोत्री में और लक्ष्मण झूला में रहते थे. So he used to say to us, ये बड़ी उल्टी सिद्धांत है महात्मा जी, तुम जानो या ना जानो, तुम मानो या ना मानो या ना मानो, तुम ही राम. So centered in Brahman, centered in Rama, it means that you actually are that reality, but for some strange reason we don't feel that, we don't understand that, we don't realize that, we don't even seem to want it. So this is ignorance. To overcome this ignorance, this practice is given, Nishtha, being centered in that. Nishtha also is difficult because I don't understand what is Nishtha. Then before that, Shraddha. Start with faith.
So we will lack steadfastness.
Yes. But you stick to it. Even if I'm not steadfast, I will stick to it. I'll come back, I'll be disturbed. One Tibetan Lama put it nicely. He said, actually one English lady, she became a Tibetan Lama, initiated by the Dalai Lama. She made a documentary long ago about these Lamas who have come from Tibet. And she said something interesting. What these Lamas are teaching us about meditation and philosophy, their philosophy is a combination of Shunyavada and Vijnanavada. And meditation. They are very sophisticated systems of meditation. So that lady, British lady, she said, what these Lamas are teaching us about meditation is not wrong, but you have to remember, they have been monks since they were little children. And they have lived in the icy plateau of Tibet. This is the first generation of Tibetans who came in the 1950s and 60s. They lived on the icy plateau of Tibet. They grew up in that culture. They did not know anything about the modern world. And certainly in those days, no internet, phone, nothing. So with that mind, they approached these teachings. So from that perspective, they're teaching us. But we are not like that. Our minds are already full of lot of garbage. Our habits are already conditioned. So this is what she said. And we have to work hard at that level first to make those teachings. That's why we should not complain, I'm not becoming enlightened. No. Another Lama said, in our current age, the situation we are in, do not try for long samadhi. Do not try for one long samadhi. He said, try for little samadhi many times. Little samadhi many times. What he means is periods of intense focus, then let it go. Because if you don't let it go, it will get contaminated by thoughts. Thoughtless, choiceless awareness for a split 2-3 seconds, 10 seconds, let it go. Then come back to it again. That's the answer for if Shama and Dhamma are not very strong, you can try this way also.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Swamiji, thank you for blessing us with your presence. My name is Dhaval Madlani. I am from Bombay. So, sir, apart from your YouTube discourses, I also listen to one gentleman called Sam Harris, whom you have often referred to in your talks.
Yes,
And you
I
also
had a conversation with
yes,
Sam Harris.
I have gone through that. I've heard that very well. One of the things that he mentions is very strongly is this lack of free will, and that I think is in sync with Advait Vedanta is the way I read it. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this, on free will, and if that indeed is correct, then this Vivek and Vairagya that you expect us to do, is it possible for us to actually
What
do
is
that?
the view of Vedanta on free will? Swami Vivekananda said free will is a contradiction in terms. When it becomes will, it's already determined. It's already in the causal sequence. Cause leads to effect. However, there is freedom. As Atman, as Brahman, freedom is you are free all the time. As body, mind, as individuals, we are not free, but that is only from a philosophical analysis. Even nowadays from a neuroscientific analysis. New book is The Determined by Richard Sapolsky. So they are coming to the same conclusion that actually we don't have freedom. We think we have freedom. However, for all practical purposes, and that includes religion, spirituality, Vedanta also, all are practical, Vyavahara. You must assume free will. Coming to this retreat, you made a choice, free will. Election is going on in India now. Election is based on free will. You have to choose. You go to a shopping mall or online shopping, free will. You have to make a choice. Choice means free will. Then religion, whole Gita, all these religious teachings, it assumes you have the free will to practice. Otherwise, why teach anything? Why teach anything? So, practically, Sri Ramakrishna's example of the cow who is tied by a rope to the tree. So the cow has a certain amount of freedom to go out and eat grass. If it exercises that freedom and pulls at the rope, the farmer may give a little more rope or may take it and tie it in a more greener pasture, something. So we have a little bit of free will. You use it, push the envelope, you will get more freedom. So that is not a philosophical answer, it's a practical answer. Philosophically, yes, from the view of Brahman or even from Ishvara's perspective, we don't have free will. But from a Jiva perspective, it makes sense to use the appearance of free will which we have. I'll leave it there.
Pranam Swamiji, this is Pushpita Ghosh from Kolkata. Swamiji, today we learned about the lower religion, mass religion that you talked about. So we have seen this, is this same as what we read in Kathamrita also, that Thakur used to love Keshav Chandra very much, and he sometimes we go through that he Ami Keshaber jonno dabjini manbo. So does this what he wanted to teach us about this that lower religion also we should follow to
Not
some
you
extent?
should follow, we will follow anyway. Our whole effort should be to transcend the lower religion and go to the higher religion. However, in samsara it is not so easy. When you have somebody who's beloved, your own, people said, our own suffering, Swamiji, we can handle, but the suffering of near and dear ones, very difficult. So in samsara, huge challenges come. It's too easy to say that Vairagya, you don't have any concern with it, let God do whatever He wants. No, we have special prayers. Let God do welfare to all, sadhus also pray. But let God take care of this person, cure his or her disease, or reduce the pain of this person, or pull me out of this terrible problem I have created myself. We have these special prayers. There also, one can ask. Sri Ramakrishna says, don't ask. If you go to an emperor, don't ask for Lau Kumro. But as you give the example, for someone beloved like Keshav, he prayed. Mother also did on occasion. So one can, but at the same time, one must resign oneself to the will of the divine. This is, as a child, one can go to parents and say, this is my wish. Mother, father, this is my wish. Now it's up to you. What you do, I will accept. But you have the freedom to ask. And slowly over time, we will rise above that also.
Thank you so much.
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Artha, Vigyasu, Artharthi, and Jnanicha, 4 kinds of devotees. Those who come to me with problems, they are also my bhakta. Those who come to me with not problems but demands, shopping list, they are also my bhakta. Because they believe in me. And higher than them is Jigyasu, the one who wants to realize God. And the highest of all is the Brahmagyani.
Namaskar Swamiji. Amit from Mumbai.
That should be the last question back there because we have really run out of time. Yes.
Yeah. So when we say that we are not the body, we are not the mind. Okay, let's park this statement here. Now there is a reality that I, whatever I am, Jiva, whatever, I am only able to experience this body and this mind. Okay, there is, for me, there is nothing else which I am able to experience, right? All pain, pleasures, everything within this body and within this mind.
But slowly, I will take a second.
Yeah.
Remember the question.
Yeah.
It's not true that you cannot experience anything else. Through that body and mind, you are able to experience all these people. You are able to experience all those bodies. What you are trying to say precisely is, I experience only one body internally as, being embodied. I don't find myself embodied in all bodies, in only one body.
Yes, the thing is, so if somebody pinches him for the sake, I will not feel that pain as of now, but if somebody pinches me, I'm able to feel that pain.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm able to experience this body.
Through one body. In one body, through
in
one. This is called embodiment.
Embodiment. Now, my question is, it's a 2-3 phase questions. First of all is, after enlightenment, does a person, whosoever gets enlightened, is able to experience all bodies and all minds?
That is a difficult question. One is, he realizes that I am the one existence consciousness bliss, which is reflected in this body and mind as this jiva, and as those jivas in that body and those bodies and minds. If you say, I am experiencing myself in all bodies and minds, it is possible, that's only Ishvara. According to standard Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta will say only Ishvara experiences himself, herself, itself as in identity with the whole cosmos. And we will experience ourselves in identity with microcosm, with one body and mind. But the Jnani, the Brahmagyani, realizes I am Satchidananda, not even the cosmos, not one body, not the entire cosmos also. Existence consciousness, please. So, let me give this example. In dreams, the fact is, you see so many people in the dreams. And you see yourself in the dream also. And you are not aware you are dreaming. And you are interacting with other people. When you wake up from the dream, enlightenment, what do you realize? You realize all of those people and that fellow in the dream, I also, we are all the creation of this one mind. You never feel in the dream that I am in all those beings. Only after waking up you realize they never existed. One dreaming mind only existed, and that appeared as all of these. It's not enlightenment to say that I am feeling I am this fellow now. Now I am enlightened when I feel I am 100 fellows. Then I am enlightened, not 1 billion fellows. No. This individual and the total, both are appearances in one underlying reality, Brahman. I am that Brahman, not million people. So that is enlightenment in Brahmagyana. But you can sense a but coming. Swami Vivekananda says that there is something beyond this. Right now we can act through one body and mind, but it should be possible that we will be able to act through many bodies and minds and all bodies and minds, maybe in the future, post-enlightenment. And he leaves it at that. He does not talk any further about that. Traditional, I'm giving an answer from 2 perspectives. One is the traditional Advaitic answer, according to what Shankaracharya will say. Will he say then now you will be identified with all bodies and minds? No. You will realize this one body and mind also, I am not. In a waking state, now I am identified with this body. The moment you fall asleep, you yourself, you will continue in your dreams, but you will not be aware of this body.
Yes.
In deep sleep, you will still exist, but you will not be aware of this body, you will not be aware of this mind also.
So does the jiva realize that he gets enlightened? I mean,
certainly. Certainly.
The jiva realize that's get enlightened.
Yes, yes.
So when you say Advait Vedanta, when you say one and there is no other reality, and then when you're saying only Brahman can, feel all the bodies and the
Not Brahman, Ishvara.
Ishvara can be, then do we say there are two? One is Ishvara and one is the enlightened being? Then are we talking two? Because enlightened being only feel that I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. He stops there. Or when we come to consciousness, I only feel this body and this mind.
I understand the question. आप दोनों आप इसको समझिए इस तरह से, स्वप्न के दृष्टांत से समझिए. स्वप्न में, in a dream, you don't know you're dreaming. You are there, other people are there. Somebody comes in a dream and tells you, this is all a dream. You are actually sleeping on your bed. You are dreaming all this. ना ये लोग हैं, ना ये जगह है, ना आप हैं इधर. When you wake up, will you say, oh, now I have woken up, I realize the truth of that person who said it. So are there two here now? I, the waker, plus somebody else in the dream, or some power in the dream? No, no, no. It is I alone, the waker, who was dreaming. दो नहीं है, एक ही है. Another way, philosophically what they will say is there are two levels, Vyavaharika and Paramarthika. In the absolute level, Nirguna Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss without a second. Satchidananda without a second, that's the only one non-dual reality is there. That is the ultimate truth. But just like a dream, it can appear as many. When the word is appear, though nahi ho gaye hain, it has not become two, it appears as two. There's a difference between actually becoming two and appearing as two. Like your own dream. You appear as a whole world there, but you did not become that world. When you wake up, you realize it was an imagination.
Okay, finally then Jiva exists. Jiva exists after enlightenment also. Does it mean that? The Jiva...
Certainly, from our perspective. And from the Jiva's perspective, Brahman always existed. Brahman alone exists. Brahman will continue to exist.
Okay, let's back it there.
Perspective अलग है. अब देखिए स्वप्न और जागने के दृष्टांत से देखिए, सिनेमा का दृष्टांत से देखिए, कोई चीज एक सच में एक है लेकिन दिखता बहुत है, हो सकता है. That's why the word is not, the term is Advaita, not one, non-dual. When it's appearing to be dualistic also it's non-dual.
Thank you.
Chalo.
Namaskar Swamiji. My name is Tina. I am from Mumbai. There is a confusion inside and I need correction.
You have to speak a little louder.
There is a little confusion inside and I need correction. So my understanding is the world appears inside of me in form of thoughts, sensations, perceptions and feelings. And I know the world inside me only because there is no direct, the world exists, there is no direct evidence of that. Because I feel the world is inside me only through those arisings. That is again a witness consciousness because there are two, the arisings and the witness. Then how does, and I also know that those arisings are made of awareness only because they are arising in awareness and falling in awareness.
Yes.
So is this witness consciousness, and how do I go from witness consciousness to pure awareness?
आप तो बहुत नजदीक पहुंच गए हैं, at least in understanding. See, you went through 3 stages. If you listen, I have listened very carefully to what you said. World is experienced.
Yes.
But how is the world experienced?
Through
in my
arisings.
mind?
Yeah.
बाहर वर्ल्ड है और मन में दिख रहा है, इसका कोई एविडेंस नहीं है.
Yeah.
जो दिख रहा है मन में दिख रहा है.
Yeah.
अच्छा, तो 2 stages हो गए. एक है वर्ल्ड इज एग्जिस्टिंग, स्टेज 1. स्टेज 2, नो वर्ल्ड इज नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग, इट्स ऑल एक्सपीरियंस्ड इंटरनली.
Yes.
हम देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, टच कर रहे हैं, स्मेल कर रहे हैं, एंड थिंकिंग अबाउट इट, रिमेंबरिंग इट, डिजायरिंग इट, हेटिंग इट, trying to understand, remembering, forgetting. This is the world for me.
Yeah.
This is the second stage.
Yeah.
You have gone from world to mind.
Yeah.
The third stage you said, लेकिन ये जो मन में दिख रहा है, ये क्या मन में दिख रहा है या it's being seen in awareness?
Yeah.
चैतन्य में दिख रहा है.
हाँ.
मन तो अपने आप नहीं दिख सकता.
नहीं.
Just think 2 thoughts. ABCD 1 2 3. 2 thoughts are there. 1 2 3 is one thought. ABCD is another thought. Does ABCD know the 1 2 3 thought, or I know the 1 2 3 thought?
I know.
I know. Does 1 2 3 know ABCD?
No.
I know. Does ABCD know itself? No.
No.
I know it. Does 1, 2, 3 know itself? No, I know it.
Yeah.
Every thought,
They are unconscious.
the thoughts are not conscious. They
No.
don't know themselves, they
No.
don't know anything else.
No.
I know the thoughts.
Yes.
And I know myself also.
Yes.
So all these thoughts are arising and being experienced in me, the consciousness.
Yes.
If they are experienced in me, the consciousness, and then they are nothing apart from me, the consciousness. जैसे आपने पहले बोला, the whole world is experienced in mind.
Yeah.
And there is no evidence of a world outside mind.
Yeah.
Now you are saying the whole mind is experienced in consciousness. Can you say there is no experience, there is no evidence of a mind outside consciousness? Yes.
Yeah.
Without consciousness, can you experience mind? No. So there is no evidence of a mind outside consciousness?
Yes.
So there is evidence for consciousness only?
Yeah. Correct.
This consciousness only, which does not consider the experienced mind as a second, is a non-dual consciousness. This non-dual consciousness is pure consciousness.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. 3 stages. Do you remember I said Vivekananda said you can see it as the world as one reality, or as a deeper understanding you can see it as mind, or as a deeper understanding you can see it as spirit or consciousness. Same word, right? This one. Exactly what she was saying. Yes, good. This is a very high note to end on, but tea awaits us. Chalo. Announcement.
Thank you, Maharaj. We will have tea and snacks right here.